Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about minimum and maximum points on graphs for our prerequisite review for Calculus 1, Math 1554. First, we'll draw a couple graphs. And we want to label their minimum and maximum points. A minimum or maximum point is any point where the graph goes from increasing to decreasing, or it goes up to infinity or down to negative infinity. We have two types of minimum and maximum points. We have absolute and relative points. A relative point is any point that goes from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing. An absolute point is the highest or lowest point on the graph, and these are usually either infinity or negative infinity, or they're just the highest or lowest points in the graph. So first we label if they're a minimum or a maximum. We go to this graph here first. This point here is a minimum, is a maximum. Our next point down here is a minimum. Our third point is a maximum. And our first point is a minimum. And now we want to see if they're the relative or absolute. We're looking in this entire interval, and we'll call this from A to B. So, our first point, this maximum, this is just the relative maximum, or a relative maximum, because it's not the highest point in the graph. Our second point is also relative, and it's a minimum, because it's not the lowest point in the graph. Our third point, however, is an absolute. And this is because it's the highest point in the graph. And our fourth point is an absolute minimum. Next, we move to the second graph. Here we have a maximum. And our second point is a minimum. And our third point, well, it's going to infinity, so it's not technically a point right now, but we'll call that a max. Now, our first point here, it's not an absolute because we have infinity involved, so only infinity is the absolute. Our point here is relative. Our second point is our absolute minimum in the interval. And our point of infinity will always be absolute. Lastly, looking at our third graph, this point at infinity, or negative infinity, is a minimum. Our point up here is a maximum, then a minimum, and then a maximum. Now negative infinity, because it's negative infinity, will always be absolute. Our maximum up here is a relative because it's not the highest point in the graph. That's actually our fourth point, which is our absolute maximum. And then our minimum right here will be relative. And these are how to solve these graphs and label our points. One more thing to talk about is the total possible number of minimums or maximums we can have. If our highest exponent is x to the n, then our total possible number of minimum of maximum points is going to be n minus 1. And we can prove this really quickly. Let's say we have the graph y equals x. Well, the exponent here is technically 1, so our total number of minimums or maximums should be 0. And this is true because y equals x is just a linear function. The graph never goes from increasing to decreasing or vice versa, so we can't have any minimums or maximums. And if we look at something like x cubed, well, this is how x cubed looks. And we see that the total possible number could be 2. And right here, we have 1 going to infinity, 1 going to negative infinity, and 1 technically in the center. So that's about it for minimum and maximum points. Thank you for watching.